I struggled with whether or not to include this film in my Roughie month. It's not very rough, but it is directed by Doris Wishman, and you should know her name. She's an absolute legend. Plus, I was thinking, maybe you're not really into the ultra sleazy, explicit depictions of rapes, beatings, and murder. So maybe this is a good choice because it's not very explicit. The rapes, beatings, and murder are, well, they're tasteful. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. Today I'm taking a look at Bad Girls Go to Hell from 1965. This film comes to us from exploitation filmmaker legend Doris Wishman. She had a crazy career. In fact, our friend Joe Bob Briggs said she was the greatest female exploitation film director in history. She was also one of the most prolific female directors in film history. In fact, she's the most prolific female director in the sound era. Dorothy Asner is the overall winner in this category, in case you're curious. Doris Wishman directed a number of nudist camp movies. In fact, she pushed the genre forward enough to find herself in court on obscenity charges. So let's see how she does with a roughie. We start in a bedroom. Well, that's a good sign. The lovely Gigi Darlene plays Meg, and she wants hubby to stay home. And this is a Moss film, which means there's no synchronized audio, but check out how Wishman uses some clever editing to disguise that fact.
Would you like to go dancing?
Sounds nice.
You get spiffed up in your prettiest dress. I'll be home early and we'll have dinner and then go to that Calypso bar you like so much.
I still can't see why you have to go to the office today. It's Saturday. Nobody works on Saturday.
I'm sorry, honey, but Ed's in town for the day only, and I must see him before he leaves.
Pretty cool. Hubby ignores Meg's advances and goes to work, and Meg piddles around the apartment doing some cleaning, and when she goes into the hallway to take out some trash, she is assaulted by the building's janitor. She gets away from him and makes it back to her apartment, and then this letter shows up.
Come to my apartment or I'll tell your husband what happened.
Tell the husband what? That he assaulted her? Like, how is this a threat? Like, why does she buy this story? It's so dumb. If somebody assaulted my wife and then told me, I don't know what I would do, but I know I wouldn't be mad at my wife. She might get mad at me after I traipse blood through the apartment, but I wouldn't be mad at her. And she agrees to go to his apartment? That is unbelievably stupid. Anyway, there's a struggle. She ends up killing him. Smartest thing she's done in the movie so far. But then she gets worried that she'll be accused of murder, even though she has a perfect excuse, and she flees to New York City. So again, pretty stupid. She meets this really nice guy, and he tells her that she can crash at his place until she gets things together, so she does. And everything is totally fine until she suggests having a drink, and he really freaks out at this suggestion.
I feel like having a drink, some nice scotch and soda, or...
I have no liquor here. If you want a drink, go to a bar.
But then the next day, she sets out some drinks for the both of them. Like, what was she thinking? And he completely loses it.
Ow!
Okay, so then after all of that, when she leaves, she kisses him goodbye. What is wrong with this girl? Okay, next she meets Tracy. Hey, and check it out, that's Darlene Bennett. In real life, she was very close friends with Gigi Darlene. In fact, Gigi Darlene took her last name to honor her friend, Darlene Bennett. So that's pretty cool. Tracy takes her over to Della's place, who in real life was Darlene Bennett's twin sister, Dawn. This is a family movie. Anyway, things at Della's go pretty well until one evening Della gets a little frisky and Meg resists for a few seconds, and then we get some girl-on-girl action. The next day, she realizes that she's in lesbians with Della and says she has to go. I'm not sure why, but I'm not sure why she does anything that she does in this movie. She finds another place. That doesn't go very well either. She ends up as the caretaker of an old lady, and then there's a really interesting twist that I'm not going to spoil, so let's talk some highlights. Well, I said it before, there's some really clever Moss filmmaking here, and I gotta give props to Wishman for that. It's damn cool how she makes it look like it's not a Moss film sometimes. It's also nice to see some familiar faces. Well, we're talking about low-budget sexploitation films from New York's underground scene in the 1960s, so whether or not you find them familiar depends a whole lot on whether or not you are me. Or someone like me. And I was pleasantly surprised by that ending, which I'm not going to spoil. But the film's not perfect. Like a house guest who can't resist her host, it has some shortcomings. Well, my main complaint is there's not nearly enough skin in this movie. We never get a full frontal shot of Gigi, for example. Not even half frontal. We get some back and some backside and brief glimpses of side boob, but that's it, and that's not enough. And it's not like Gigi Darlene had a problem with nudity. She was nude in The Beast That Killed Women, which came out in the same year as this. That's a really stupid movie, though, by the way, so you don't need to watch that one. And I know there were censorship concerns, but there were people out there in the same underground community making more explicit, more envelope-pushing movies at the same time. People like Michael and Roberta Finlay, Joseph Maura, and Joseph Sarno. And finally, it's really hard to attach to Meg as a main character because everything she does is just stupid. Just one stupid decision after another. It gets pretty frustrating. Almost as frustrating as not seeing her naked. Almost. And so, on my hit scale, for most people, I'd say skip this one. It's really not very good. This one is for fans of Doris Wishman or completionist fans of sexploitation from the 60s. But for people with only a passing interest in these two things, there's very little here to appeal to you. Unless, of course, you have a desire to see tasteful depictions of rapes, beatings, and murder. I respect Doris Wishman, I respect the hell out of Doris Wishman's career, and that's why I'm talking about this film at all. But at the end of the day, I never liked her nudist camp movies, and I don't think she had quite the sensibilities to make a good Roughie. But she's historically significant, and that's significant.